Hello everyone, AJ from herfitnesssolutions.com. Today is video, well it's blog 1, but it's part 5. It's a video blog about client want me to come up with the first 5 things I could think of, personality traits about me that really helped me in my fitness and health journey thus far. So I saved the best for last, and I'm warning you right now that this is probably going to turn into a little bit of a rant, but bear with me. We're moving on to different video blogs next week. Okay, so number 5 is keep things simple. As simple as possible. I'm sure that you'll see the theme on my website, and anyone in health and fitness who knows what they're talking about is going to always talk about stress management. We live in a pretty hectic world. Some places where people live are more hectic than others. I've had the opportunity to live in a very small town and then downtown Toronto, and then finding somewhere that was kind of in between the two to find balance. But keeping it simple, I think that this is probably the most important thing if anyone was to ask me advice about anything. So what are the ways you can keep it simple in your life? There's so many different levels. There can be I actually wrote some notes down because I thought this was important. There's on a personal level, right? So with your relationships with the people closest to you. And something I'd like to include in that one is drama. There's so much media drama, whether it be on television or just, the things that people put up on the internet all the time are just ridiculous, and it's just drama. And we're just constantly bombarded with stuff, and it's like, man, if you're gonna read some stupid article about Miley Cyrus and it's gonna take 5 minutes out of your life, it's just drama. I think, keep it simple. Don't get sucked into those stupid things that really don't have any positive effect on your life, and go for a walk or take some deep breaths and just close your eyes for a few minutes instead of spending 5 minutes just feeding yourself this nonsense that we don't freaking need. So anyway, that was just, personal kind of drama, things that you bring into I think you bring it all into your own life, but that was just one example of things that are just so unnecessary that are probably coming at you, 100 times a day. The other thing for keeping it simple is just rest and recovery. It's like if you are taking on too many things and you cannot spend as much time or the necessary time to recover from all these things, it's too complicated. You need to take a step back. You need to make that decision that you have taken on too much and decide where your priorities are going to be. It's not going to get any better. You can keep on doing this. I don't know for how long. Some people can do it for a lot longer than others, but eventually you will burn out. Keep your schedule as simple as possible. And I know that seems maybe somewhat impossible. I know a lot of mothers are out there, they're working a full-time job, they're raising a family. But trust me, if you just sit back and look at the details, there's going to be a lot of things that you can make a decision whether or not they're going to be a part of your day-to-day routine and whether or not you actually need those things. The other couple of things I wanted to talk about was financial stresses and just keeping your finances simple. If you can't afford the car, don't buy it. If you can't afford the leather boots, don't buy them. These are really simple things. I think that we all fall into that trap of wanting to keep up with the Joneses or whatever the heck you want to call it. These are decisions. They're choices that you make. You do not have to spend that money. You do not have to look a certain way. Yes, it's nice to look nice, but you don't have to spend your credit card debt to look a certain way. I'm just a big stickler for that one. It's like, if you can't afford to buy it, don't buy it. That's another thing that's going to snowball out of control. So keep that simple. If you can afford it, sure, go for it. If you can't, it's off the list. That's very simple. I kind of tie that in just to belongings too in your life. It's like if you have all these things in your house that you don't need, it's like, get rid of them. Go give them to charity. Maybe have a garage sale. Do something. You do not need that excess in your life. Keep it simple. When you create a simple environment around you, everything else will kind of follow that pattern. So social lives are something else that I find people make really complicated for themselves. I've had people that I've trained in the past who every single night of the week they had a social engagement, and every single weekend they were going somewhere either by train or by plane or having a big gathering at their house, and it was non-stop. These people could not find the time to pack a lunch or go grocery shopping for healthy food, but they were involved in like 7 to 10 social engagements per week. I find this a lot when I give out assessments for people to complete. It's actually a pretty easy assessment, and the people who are very motivated and I think are at a point in their lives when they're ready to take something on, whether it be like, if they want to lose a certain amount of weight or whatever it is that I help them with, they can get that assessment back in a day or two. The people who already, they're just too overwhelmed with life already, I'm talking like 3 months. And my first thing when I get that assessment back is, if it took you 3 months to fill out 3 pages, is there something else that we need to address before we start looking at your nutrition and fitness and exercise or whatever? So that's always a big red flag for me when taking on a new client. And it's the same thing with exercise and nutrition. Keep it simple. If you decide to find some kind of protocol online for your nutrition and you look at it and you're like super overwhelmed by it, it's too much for you right now. Everything should seem simple. When you look at something that you're going to take on, you should look at it and say, yeah, no problem. I got that. I can do that. And if you're finding that whatever it is that you want to take on, you don't have that attitude, you always feel overwhelmed, it's because your life is too complicated as it is, and you need to sacrifice something. Something needs to give before you're going to be able to move ahead and make progress with what you want to do. And if you don't do that, it's only going to snowball out of control even worse. And sometimes the sacrifices can be pretty small, and it's usually something that we like to do, that we think that we benefit from, whether it be, I don't know, in my situation, it was doing a sport that was no longer in my area. So I was traveling really far to make it happen because I was so attached to it. I thought it was who I was, that I did this sport. And I didn't realize that something that was so good in my life turned into this huge financial stressor. It was a time waster, and I wasn't getting any return for it. It killed all the satisfaction out of that. And I had to realize that maybe at this time in my life, it's not something I'm going to pursue. And it wasn't until I made that sacrifice and disconnected from the fact that, even if I give this up, it doesn't affect who I am, that I was able to move forward and be successful with other things in my life. So keep it simple as possible. That is my number one rule all the time. As soon as I feel overwhelmed, I back off. And that's it. That's the end of today's blog, the last one, part 5. Keep it simple. All right, see you guys later.